this is not just one of the most wonderful days for Indian sports, it's also one of the most, I would say, one of the greatest days for Indian television. We have with us perhaps the greatest player in the history of the game, Roger Federer. Roger, thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's nice having a chance to speak to you and maybe so many fans of mine back in India.
Roger, great match. I know it was a tough one, and Fire has been a tough customer. I was here actually a couple of years ago when you played a five-setter with him. Now tell me, this format of best of three, is it a little bit of a disadvantage for such big players, such great players like you?
Might be a disadvantage, in fact, because the margins are smaller. It's maybe not as physical, it's more a sprint than a marathon to the finish line. And I felt that today, and that's why I think I got so nervous in the second set when I had match points, I think at 5-3, and then served for the match at 5-4. It all of a sudden hit me, this could be the end, but it clearly wasn't. I had to go through a third set and fight extremely hard to come through. So I'm obviously very relieved, but Fire played a good match. He fought hard as well himself, and the crowd, I think, seemed like they really enjoyed it, which was also very nice, because that's supposed to be also the spirit of the Olympics.
But I found you pretty relaxed on court. Of course, it was love 40 when you headed that ball, so I wasn't sure if you were really great at soccer as well.
Yes, look, I am very focused, but at the same time we're also very relaxed, because it's something we do on a daily basis. We travel the world 8 to 10 months of the year, and we hit tennis balls and we play a lot of big matches with a lot of pressure. So there's always a bit of time for a quick joke, and the ball came perfect, so I thought, okay, I'll head it over to the ball boy.
Now Roger, you've done everything that one can possibly imagine. Are there any more mountains to climb?
Well, I mean, I have no Olympic gold in singles. I've never won Davis Cup, and then I think there's always things you never thought possible. I never saw myself as a 7-time Wimbledon champion and a world #1 for so long. So I'm actually, in essence, really living my dream and enjoying myself. And then I don't feel like I need to tick all the boxes, that I have to achieve everything possible in the game of tennis. If it happens, that's great, but I try to play a full schedule from January to November and play, my 20 tournaments with almost 80 to 100 matches, and that's the way you try to play well, and stay injury-free and enjoy yourself. And now I have family too, so it's a different life, different challenge, and I really honestly have a great time on tour. Things are very different from when 12 years ago, for instance, when I played my first Olympic Games in 2000 in Sydney, and I met my wife back then. She was also competing for Switzerland. It was a different time back then, but I'm very comfortable with today's life, and I have so many fans around the world, so it's very inspiring and motivating.
I'm a big fan of yours as well.
Thank you. And it's motivating to play more often, so thank you for all your support.
Now, Roger, you're one of the smoothest players in the history of the game. The way you move, the way you hit that ball. Tell me, is this something innate, something God-given, or is it something you got to work at? Because, can we learn to play like that? Because you have a way that most players don't. People play a forceful way, right. You have a smooth way of playing. And that's perhaps one of the reasons why you're well preserved and you have less injuries.
Maybe. I mean, you're absolutely right. Maybe my technique has helped me out over the years to stay injury-free, but at the same time, I think as a rookie coming up, you do make many mistakes as well, and you can get unlucky too. Let's not forget that. So sometimes you just have a lot of injuries throughout your career, but at the same time, I think it's important to listen to the signs of the body. I always try to have enough vacation. It's not like I'm only just playing tennis. I think it's very important to relax the mind, relax the body, get rid of inflammations that you have, because professional sports are very intense and very difficult, but I think I've taken a lot of good decisions over the years. I think I've had a great team around me for many years since I'm actually a junior who have pushed me, and my first big thing I had was my talent, but I realized very quickly that actually talent wasn't enough, and that actually hard work is what's going to really bring you to something different, and finally I understood how to work hard, and then the whole physical element came into play, and then once my technique, my physical and my mind all got together, all of a sudden I became this amazing player that I never thought possible. So really it's the hard work that got me there, even though sometimes it doesn't look like that when I'm playing.
Okay, Roger, now see, you're a great stroke player. You're not just a grinder. You come up with phenomenal shots. Now, do you find that the fact that you played other sports when you were young, you played some badminton, I think you played some cricket,
right.
Perhaps played some squash as well?
Yes, I did.
Now, do you find that some of these sports that you've played perhaps flip over into tennis in a way that they roll over and it helps you in your tennis strokes? Because I remember a certain drop shot you hit against Andy, the second or third set. You're on the backhand side and you moved out and you hit a forehand drop, kind of, And a couple of years ago at the US Open, you were way behind the baseline and you hit a slice lob, if you will. I mean, I never heard of a slice lob, and it's probably something you thought of on the spur of the moment. So do you think that other sports help you in doing that?
Absolutely, and I'm a big believer actually in playing multiple sports if you do have the opportunity to do so at a young age, such as I played squash, I did ski, for instance, I played basketball, soccer, tennis, swimming, you name it. I really thought it helped my coordination. It helped also maybe by playing a team sport and then an individual sport like tennis, understanding how to win and lose by yourself, win and lose as a team, and actually grow as a person, with those experiences. So I'm a big believer in many different sports. That it definitely is also a key, I think, to a good athlete one day.
Great. And you're doing so much for the underprivileged children in Africa. You have a foundation. Right. Now, at some point, I mean, you're a great player, 31. Andy said something about that you're somebody who's great at 31. I think, I wish you many years of strong tennis ahead.
Thanks.
But somewhere down the road, when you actually hang up your racket, what are your plans in terms of the charitable work you're doing in Africa and perhaps elsewhere?
Well, I do have more time once I'm retired, so that's a good thing, which I will definitely put into good use, hopefully, particularly for my foundation and also for other good causes, I hope, because I'm just happy to help, and I hope I can inspire other people to do so as well, the ones to have the opportunity, because we do have many people that do need support, do need help, and it's not always just only financially. It can also be moral support, or being there and inspiring, like I said. So right now, obviously, it was a Roger
Sorry,
Federer.
I remember you came down for the tsunami to India. I remember you came down.
Exactly, for UNICEF. I came down to Chennai to see the relief efforts after the tsunami, which was so tragic for so many countries in that region, and it was nice to see how they rebuilt, for instance. So that's obviously things I want to do more often in the future. And with the Roger Federer Foundation right now, for instance, we're concentrating a lot on Southern Africa, with a few countries also in more Northern Africa. So that's obviously due to my mom being South African. I have a soft spot for that in my heart, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in the future I also do support other countries as well through my foundation.
Okay, you've got a lovely pair of twins, a great family. Do you find that, of course, nannies help a lot? You probably are somebody who can have nannies in reserve. Do you think that that sort of eats up into your training schedule?
Look, life on tour is tough enough. So now with the kids, it makes it even more complicated, but in a nice way. Don't get me wrong, I'm the luckiest dad in the world. I have two wonderful kids who are so cute right now, and so we're having a great time, but it needs a lot of organization skill and a very strong wife behind it all. She helps me so much of making it all possible. If she would say, look, I just can't do it, I'm too tired, I want to stay home with the kids, my life on tour would be somewhat alone and maybe sad to a degree, and I don't think I would play as long. So there's a huge thanks that goes to my wife on a daily basis, really, that she makes it all work. And then of course you have to listen to the sign of the kids if they're happy on tour or not, but so far it's been an absolute blast. It seems like they're having a good time, so I feel very fortunate to be traveling with my whole family almost on a daily basis.
Sure. And you and Sanjeev Tendulkar are great friends. I keep seeing him here at Wimbledon every year. He comes and watches your matches, and the fact that you played some cricket when you were young. Now tell us, finally, when do we see Roger Federer in India? With a racket, with his twins, with Merca?
Well, I would really like to go visit India in a big way, because not just come and do official visits, but maybe go on a vacation, as well, because I've heard so many incredible stories coming out of India, it's so colorful, and it's something I want to do. At least I saw India for 2 days, 3 days only. I was driving around, and it was very scary driving in the roads of India, but I had a great time, met some lovely people over there. And then hopefully maybe I can play an exhibition, maybe I can come, do some charitable work, but also for a vacation. There's many reasons to come to India, and I hope it's going to happen in the next few years.
We'll work on that, Roger. Now that's a promise from you, and we're going to see you in India.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being with us. Roger Federer.